Now, as we near November 5th, the US presidential election has put a spotlight on the gender gap for three pivotal reasons. Kamala Harris could be the first woman president of the United States. Second, the abortion issue has resonated with women and could increase their already high turnout. And third, the election in swing states is increasingly and incredibly close, with candidates only managing razor-thin leads.
And now we know that at least two women, and those are only the stories we know, here in the state of Georgia, died because of a Trump abortion ban.
So we have to talk business. I always thought women liked me. I never thought I had a problem. But the fake news keeps saying women don't like me. I don't believe it.
With less than 4 weeks remaining until America votes to elect its 47th president on the 5th of November, the already intense battle between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris has yet another facet. It is quickly snowballing into a gender battle. That's correct, a war between men and women. The latest NBC poll reflects a dramatic gender divide. While men are favoring Trump by 12 points, women are endorsing Harris by 21 points. That's a stunning 33-point gap between the two contenders. While Harris began her week-long media blitz with an appearance on Call Her Daddy, the most listened to podcast by women, Trump, on the other hand, is appearing on podcasts and alternative media platforms popular with young men. Trump's rather turbulent history with women is also in the spotlight. Apart from being found guilty of rape, the Republican candidate's many infamous comments regarding women are still being slammed across the board. Add to that the 2022 Dobbs decision, which overturned the constitutional right to abortion. This resulted in a massive outrage that led many women to the polls in 2022, preventing a Republican red wave. Kamala Harris, meanwhile, emerged as a strong voice for women's rights.
And we know in America, freedom is not to be given, it is not to be bestowed, it is ours by right. It is ours by right. And that includes the fundamental freedom of a woman to be able to make decisions about her own body and not have her government telling her what to do.
And Trump still finds himself on the receiving end. On Monday, White House spokesperson Karine Jean-Pierre slammed Trump over the issue. She accused Trump of, quote, handicapping 3 Supreme Court justices to overturn Roe v. Wade, unquote. Trump's appeal is his aggression. He embodies a type of masculinity that resonates with young men who feel like society is holding them back. But this gender divide might just help Kamala Harris. Women typically vote in higher numbers than men, and they're overwhelmingly in her corner. Yet, with Trump often outperforming in polls, there's concern that an unseen wave of young men could swing the election in his favor. Bureau Report for NDTV World.
Let's take a closer look at the story now. We're joined by Jennifer Kelly. She's a Republican strategist. Thanks, Jennifer, for joining us here on US Election Watch this morning. Jennifer, you heard that story just play out. Now, in recent elections, women have turned out more than men. In the last presidential election, we saw somewhere around 55% women vote as opposed to 44% from men. Now, given more women tend to vote more frequently, how do you see this working in favor of the Democrats? Because women generally tend to vote more Democrat.
Well, I agree that women tend to vote more Democrat. In fact, in the state of California, I know it surprises a lot of people that women, the single professional woman voter is now the #1 voting bloc in the Golden State. That's pretty stunning from 10 years ago when the family was the group you tried to target in your messaging. But look, I think Donald Trump has done something very smart here. He has tapped in to the angst of the heartland America, the working class male voter, and voter intensity matters here. You can have all the numbers on your side as Kamala Harris does in terms of ratio of men versus women registered to vote. But it's how those people turn out. It's that voter intensity that will get those voters up off of the sofa and turning out to vote. And in the case of Donald Trump, targeting the men in America, the people who feel forgotten, left behind, slapped down by the diversity, equity, and inclusion conversations, certainly left behind in the transgender wars. This is a voting bloc that is ready to vote. I travel the country a lot. With my radio show, All American Radio, I talk to all Americans as part of that. And people are enthused about this race, especially the working class men in the heartland of America. And so as we look at how women are going to vote, 2 years ago with the Dobbs decisions, I was concerned. I thought, Republicans that are done for the 2024 election. But Donald Trump has been able to do one thing very well, and that is he has kept the economy and also the border as the number one and number two issues, respectively. And that has allowed abortion to be down the list, number 5, number 6, number 7 on the list. And that is bad for Kamala Harris.
Right, I was just going to ask you about abortion, really, Jennifer, because after not being clear and direct on the issue for months, Trump has said he would veto a blanket abortion ban on a national abortion ban. He wants each state to decide on, really what they should do with abortion. Now, you as a white woman voter, how do you feel about this? I know you alluded to that a bit, but it still remains a fact that we are seeing multiple states enforce multiple decisions. It creates a sort of confusion, really, for women having to travel from one state to another. So you as a woman, how do you feel about that?
Well, as a self-described crazy cat lady, a single lady myself, I have to say I think it's the right decision to kick the issue back down to the states. You know, our country was founded on local politics being best. A decentralized government is best. Putting it as close to the people as possible in their states, I believe, is best. And the faith and family voters who I've represented for 20 plus years in my career, they are actually okay with that decision as well. I think that's how President Trump came to that conclusion to make this truly a states' rights issue.
All right, I understand that we have Simon Marks back with us, our correspondent here in Washington, D.C. Simon, let's talk a little bit about that infamous childless cat lady comment from J.D. Vance. He has since said he regrets making it. He says it was a sort of a joke, a sarcastic comment that had to do with life becoming more expensive in the U.S. His wife, too, coming out to defend him. How much are women going to really remember these comments heading into the polls November 5th?
Well, they'll certainly remember it if they subscribe to Taylor Swift's Instagram account, won't they? Because it was Taylor Swift who decided after those comments by J.D. Vance during the Democratic National Convention that she was going to, after the Democratic National Convention, rather, that she was going to endorse Kamala Harris for the presidency. And she did so in that Instagram post in which she signed off, referring to herself as a childless cat lady. I mean, I think that the debate nationally has kind of moved on from that particular phrase over the course of the last few weeks, but there's no question that it raised questions about J.D. Vance's particular outlook and underscored the reasons why Donald Trump had picked him. I mean, it really does underscore the fact that if Donald Trump wins this election, he is going to bring about a totally different type of administration than the one that he presided over from 2016 to 2020. He's not going to be making accommodations with people like Mike Pence, former vice president, or Republicans like Liz Cheney, now backing Kamala Harris for the presidency. He's going to create a government that is filled absolutely entirely with loyal supporters of his Make America Great Again movement. And J.D. Vance saw the opening there for himself as a member of the US Senate who had previously been very critical of Donald Trump to move in and essentially become the man who could be the Republican leader after Donald Trump, whatever happens, whether Trump wins the presidency or loses it. This is a party that Donald Trump is now essentially recreating in his own image.
Simon Marks and Jennifer Kelly, thank you so much for your time here on US Election Watch.